What's up, everybody? Kent here from Kent's Garage Gym. I'm actually in my office right now before work. I made a tool just for you that you can download in the link in the description below. It's an Excel file where you can just plug in your weight and it will tell you how much you have to eat in order to cut, maintain, or bulk. You've heard it said before that bodybuilding is 30% working out and 70% nutrition. This is true because bodybuilding is actually the act of cutting down your muscles. You're destroying your muscles. And the nutrition is what builds it back up stronger than before. Take your hand for an example. If you rub your hand raw and you give it rest, your body will derive from the nutrition inside of it and build it back stronger and harder with calluses. But if you keep on rubbing it raw over and over with no rest, you're giving your body no time to heal, and what happens is it just gets more and more raw until eventually it gets bloody and useless. So since we've heard it said so many times that bodybuilding is 60%, 70%, 80% diet and nutrition, the majority of nutrition anyway, I ask myself, why isn't it more heavily emphasized? It's kind of become a pet peeve that people say that, and yet in these bodybuilding manuals, they put it in the very, very back of the manual as if it's the least important part of bodybuilding. Take Arnold's encyclopedia, for example. He does that. He talks about history of bodybuilding, then he talks about working out, then he talks about competition, then finally he talks about nutrition, but there's not just one nutrition section. And it's more scientific really than practical. It's not like, here's how much you got to eat, here's your formulas, like what I'm doing for you here. Ronnie Coleman does something similar. He tucks it in the back of his book, but at least he goes through his meals that he ate throughout the day, and it shows how much proteins, carbs, and fats he had. It doesn't apply to you. By the way, I want to tell you something. Ronnie Coleman eating 2 grams of protein per body pound. Us natties, naturals, people who are not on steroids, we cannot eat like guys on steroids. We cannot work out like guys on steroids. If we eat as much as people who are on steroids, we're just going to be packing on fat. If we work out as much as people who are on steroids, we're just going to be overworking it, and it's going to be working against ourselves. So that's how we're a little bit different. Here's the formulas to help you gain weight or lose weight. With calories, for example, calories are the unit measurement of energy. If you're in a calorie surplus, you're gaining weight. If you're in a calorie deficit, you are losing weight. But not all weight is bad, okay? A lot of people talk about losing weight. They need to change their mind. Weight is not bad. They need to lose fat, and they need to retain muscle, or they need to gain muscle. So when you hear people say losing weight, of course fat is weight. I mean, there's weight with fat. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to say they need to get into the mind frame of what kind of weight they want to lose or what kind of weight they want to gain, because calories are not created equal. You've got proteins, carbs, and fats. Proteins are the building blocks of muscle. So basically you hear it's 1 gram of protein per body pound from diet to diet. That can vary a little bit from diet to diet. Second, you've got carbs. It's the unit of energy, what makes you feel good throughout the day. If you're on a low carb diet, you're going to be tired, you're going to be hungry. And if you're on a high carb diet, you're going to feel more full. You're probably going to have a little bit more energy. Then finally, fats are kind of like the oil of what keeps your body going. These are good. You have good fats and bad fats. All right, so you got to stick to the good fats. So let's take a look at this formula and this thing that I made for you, and I want to show you a little bit how to use it. So here's the Excel file that I made for you. You can look at the top and see the weight. You just click the number and you type in wherever you're at or wherever you want to be, and it will automatically adjust all the numbers from cutting, maintenance, and bulking so that you can see exactly how much you got to be eating from plan to plan. So let's start at maintenance. Maintenance sometimes gets a bad rap because people don't want to maintain. They want to either cut or they want to bulk. They want to get bigger or lose fat. But maintenance actually does cut fat and it does build muscle. It just does it kind of slowly. But when you get to a certain place, that's what you want to do in bodybuilding. You're trying to make yourself look good, and the maintenance plan is going to help you do that. So you're going to be on this plan for a majority of the time. And if you look at the calories, to the left and the right, the cutting and the bulking, you're going to see a variation of 500 calories from one plan to another. Cutting is going to be 500 calories less, and bulking is going to be about 500 calories more. And this is a pretty good point, a pretty good starting point for you. I don't know who you are, and I don't know your metabolism. I don't know what kind of job you do, your activity throughout the day. So if you have an office desk job like I do, I'm burning minimum calories throughout the day, clicking buttons. But if you have a job like you're a roofer or you're a farmer, then your body's constantly being used, and you can do things like cut out your cardio, or you can bulk up higher than what this bulking plan has. So basically how it goes is, if you're on the bulking plan and this plan is not helping you bulk, you don't find that you're gaining any weight, what you have to do is you have to increase the carbs and the fats a little bit. How much do you increase it? Well, try like 0.1 grams of carbs. And you can go all the way up to a half a gram of fat. But, I mean, you don't have to increase it from 1/3 to 1/2. There's numbers in between those two numbers, but you can do that kind of deal. So let's start at, let's look at the cutting plan. Okay, cutting plan is what you do when you want to cut fat. So you will be doing cardio 4 to 5 times a week for about 20 to 45 minutes. And you will be working out heavy. And what you have underneath is you've got 1 gram of protein per body pound. Maintenance and bulking is the same. It's about 1 gram per body pound. But you'll notice right next to the formula I wrote 1.2 grams max, which means you can increase this protein amount all the way up to 1.2 grams max. And the reason why is because you want to prevent yourself from losing muscle. Your body wants to cannibalize the muscle first and the fat last. You're trying to tell it, no, I'm holding on to this muscle, I want to build it, and I want to cut my fat. So if you find that you're losing strength, increase it a little bit, like increase it from 1 gram to 1.1 gram or 1.2 grams, and that's how that goes. Carbs, 1 gram of carb per body pound is very low. You're going to be hungry a lot. It's going to suck, but you'll get used to it. And if you're trying to lose it a little bit faster, you can go all the way down to 0.6 grams. I would say that's minimum. And if you were losing 1 to 2 pounds of body weight per week, that's good. If you're losing any more than that, then it means that you're losing muscle and you need to increase those carbs. Okay. Now look from one plan to another, the carbs. 1 gram of carbs on cutting, 1.5 grams on maintenance, 2 grams on carbs. So you see a variation of 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 from one plan to another. Okay, now the fats. Low carb, low fat, that's what a cutting plan is all about. You see 1/5 gram of fat per body pound. The next plan has 1/4, and the next plan has 1/3. That, my friends, is how it's going to go. So if you find that your body is not responding the way that you want to, for cutting, you can decrease a little. For bulking, you can increase a little. And that's what the bottom formulas are for that I made, the variable plan and the bulk variable plan, but basically the variable plan. What the variable plan is down at the bottom, you can type in the value of what you want to do. If you want all the way up to that 1.2 grams of protein per body pound, then hey, you type in the section below 1.2. If you want higher or lower carbs just to play around with the values and see what it does to you, then you can type there and also in the fats. And in the section above, it will directly tell you what you need to do to meet that goal. On the right, the bulk variable plan. This is something that I got from Dorian Yates, 6-time IFBB pro. He was Mr. Olympia 6 times, and he talked something about this. Yes, he was on steroids. Yes, he was on other stuff. So if you do this, probably you might be on steroids. It might be beneficial if that's the case. I'm not endorsing steroids or anything, but whatever. You can also try this out too. Just from one week to another, just to see what it does to yourself. But the main difference in this bulk variable plan from the other plans is the carbs, because the carbs is multiplied by the amount of protein that you're taking. So if you're taking however much protein you're taking, you can take 1.5 to 2 grams of carbs per gram of protein. That's the most complicated that this formula gets. And when you go down there and you type in the carbs, you're going to notice that it's multiplied by the protein and your body weight. all together. And that really wraps it up right there. I've got more tabs at the bottom to talk about later in later videos. You've got the actual meal plans itself, different foods that you can throw into those meal plans, some recipes that I haven't really done much with because I'm not a big recipe guy, and finally snacks, snack tabs, because snacks were really the things that I was having a hard time deciding what to eat throughout the day. But that is another video, my friends. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe if this is useful to you.